Guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know, I am Alien. Today's video is another coffee chat for you guys. So today I wanted to start off with, I'm going to start off with like a lighter topic and then go straight into the other topic that I have. So you guys saw my video on wanting to go to greener beauty. So that is really my goal for 2023 is to replace, one of my goals is to replace all of my products that I currently use, hair care, body care, everything, to greener products. And yeah, so that's like, the reason I've decided to make that switch is because I have really, I don't know if you guys can see, sensitive skin, and I have tried everything in the sun, and I recently did some research, and apparently it's supposed to be better for your skin and your acne to have more greener beauty products, more natural. So that is the reason that I'm switching to the green products. I also have decided that I'm going to be decluttering a lot of my shoes and getting rid of shoes. So you guys are going to be seeing that very soon. Okay, so I've also been looking at my budget for 2023/2024. I did my sinking funds video yesterday, and today I printed out this thing from Pennies Not Perfection and mapped it out for 52 weeks, even though I get 26 weeks, what 10,000 would look like. So I have an idea where I'm going. My goal is to save 10,000 this school year in my savings account, which is fully possible. I truly believe it is possible, but yeah. So yeah. Okay, so moving on to the reason that I wanted to do this coffee chat. So lately I've been really learning more about the FLDS and the order. I've always known about the order. The order I've always kind of followed because of Escaping Polygamy and all that stuff, and loving Amanda Ray's YouTube channel, which I will link down below. But the FLDS, I always knew about the FLDS versus the order till Escaping Polygamy came out. But with all these documentaries that have come out about FLDS, I have been really deep diving into this situation because, we'll start with Preaching Evil. So Preaching Evil was a documentary that the moment that I saw it, I knew I needed to watch it. I always understood that Warren Jeffs was a criminal. I've read his daughter's book. I knew he was hurting young girls, period. Any way you slice it. But I always struggled with Lyle, I think was the brother that was with him, and Naomi, because I couldn't understand why Lyle was arrested, but Naomi wasn't. Naomi was helping him run away too. At least in my mind, that's what I thought. She was running away. She was helping him run away. I had totally negated the fact that they were married and that she was a scribe. I didn't know any of that information. In my mind, she was aiding and abetting. And I didn't understand why she wasn't being prosecuted. But then at the same time, I also knew she was a victim of Warren too. You can't negate that factor. And I really struggled with her. When I first heard the tape in this documentary that ultimately sealed the deal for Warren, I at this point, I had known that he had done horrible things. But I was conflicted at the same time because that video just didn't, that recording didn't seem like something that would necessarily hang him, if that makes sense. But Naomi wasn't the only one in this. There was a Wendell Jeffs. There was other people who were married to Warren in there, or all these other things, But I struggled with Naomi in this documentary because I understand she is a victim. I do understand that. But I feel like she's still in love with this man. I know that's going to sound crazy, but I really truly believe that she is in some way, shape, or form still in love with Warren. And I don't know if she necessarily wants to be out. I know she's like getting her nursing degree, but like from everything that I like have seen from this interview with her, it just seems like she is still in love with this man. And I struggle with that because I'm also like, you aided and abetted this person. People do crazy things when they're in love. Listen, I understand that I've made plenty of mistakes in the love department, and because I love somebody and I wanted me and him to work out so bad. But I really, really struggle with Naomi, like I keep saying, because I really feel that she knows more than she's saying. Even in interviews, I got this like vibe that like, I don't want to say reading from a script, but it's like she knew what to say for a lot of things. And I really feel that she's still like indoctrinated, and that like she wants to like I really truly believe that she is in love with this man, and she still doesn't think what transpired is wrong. And I guess I struggle with wanting Naomi to answer questions, especially after watching Keep Sweet and Obey. And, you know, I follow this YouTube channel that I'm learning more about this from. So Preaching Evil led me down this crazy path of wanting to learn more. And I also realized that I knew nothing about like the LDS religion itself. So the video that sparked that was Samantha and Melissa growing up polygamy, and they were talking about how in one of their reactions to Preaching Evil that it sounded just like an LDS blessing. And I was like, wait a minute, like I grew up Christian. I grew up in a Lutheran home, so I had no real like idea what the LDS is, which kind of got me onto their channel, and I've subscribed and I fallen in love with both of their humans. I would love to collab with one of them, but I'm afraid to reach. I would love to collab with them, but I'm afraid to reach out because I'm not their typical like content at all. I am not from a cult. I'm not related to anyone in a cult. I'm not LDS. I'm not anything, but in a dream world, they would be like my number one like YouTube collab besides Amanda Ray. But again, I'm not either one of theirs typical content. So, you know, their perspective has really been helpful for me because, you know, Melissa didn't grow up LDS and Sam grew up LDS. So for me, it was like, because sometimes when I react to things in my head, I'm like, this is not, like, this is what it is, but it's not the case. So then I watched Keep Sweet and Obey. Keep Sweet and Obey. And I was hoping that, they were going to give us a little bit more when it came to Warren Jeffs and the audio, and like, you know, give us some like real like aha moments here. And I really truly believe that like when you watch that documentary, you can't deny what is presented to you. And that kind of made me reflect on Naomi again, because I wonder if Naomi, part of me wonders, and this is an idea that actually this was actually a comment on one of Sam and Melissa's videos that got me actually thinking about this. Like, what if in reality, if Naomi admits that there was something wrong and something happened, and that because she was in the room, she has to deal with her part in it. And I don't think she's there, and I don't know if she'll ever get there, because when you love somebody so much and you don't want to hate them, and you are present for some really screwed up things, because trust me, this part I'm going to talk to Naomi, listen to me, honey. I have been in a similar situation, not cult-like, but I have been in a situation where I have loved somebody with all of my heart, been a witness to something that wasn't okay, not to this level. I just want to say not to this level. but I made excuses for their behavior because I didn't want to deal with me being complicit in what is okay. Mine was not to this extreme, but I get it. I get loving someone so much and wanting to protect them and not wanting to hurt them that you are willing to turn a blind eye to their behavior. But after therapy and help, I realized something. Me turning a blind eye and ignoring the behavior that he had done to somebody else allowed him to do the behavior he was doing to me. It didn't matter that his was nowhere near the capacity of what Warren Jeffs has done. But I allowed him I ignored every red flag and I had ignored every part of the situation because I was told by him and by others that I didn't know what I was talking about because there was 10 years between us. And that my version and his version was because I was too immature to understand what he was doing. Obviously, that was not the case. But I was young, I was 18, and I was in love, and I wanted to believe that what I was seeing with my eyes wasn't reality. And unfortunately, I was right about what happened. I was right about what was going on. But at the time, I couldn't do anything about it. At the time, I could not do anything about it. Couldn't do anything about it. And that's just reality. So yeah. So then, because of Preaching Evil, and because of Keep Sweet and Obey, I found Sam and Melissa's channel. Fell in love with their channel, obviously. Like, they're, again, number one, like, YouTube collaboration. I don't think it would ever happen in my world, but we're gonna just dream. They started a really, really interesting series that made me dive into this more. So let me just give, like, a little bit of, like, background for me so that way everyone can understand. So most of you know that I'm in education and that I love education. But I also am, like, a big proponent of, like, in helping women and children. I believe that, like, we need to have more resources to help them leave a situation that they don't want to be in. And I'm a big advocate, I guess you could say, for women and children. Like, that is, like, really where my heart lies. So this is, like, kind of, like, right up my alley in, like, regards to, like, wanting to, like, learn more and help. I'm also, like, somebody who just loves history. I love learning. So, like, this, like, whole thing has just, like, been, like, tip of the, like, iceberg situation for me. I also want to say that, like, as I'm saying things like the video wasn't enough in Preaching Evil, that I know Warren did horrible, horrible things, okay? Full send aware, okay? Because I read Rachel Jeffs' book, and you cannot deny what Rachel Jeffs put in writing. It's just not possible to ignore. I know he is an evil man and he's where he belongs, but I have had this kind of, like, from watching the documentaries and watching what transpired in the buses and the loads of children, I have struggled with the way this was handled. Before I get into Sam and Melissa's video, I want to talk about this. I know that it's not intentional in the way that it looks, but it looks bad from the outside looking in. And maybe that's because I know more about the FLDS than I did prior. But when you are told all of your life not to trust, okay, so this is kind of like me. Gonna go to me for, like, a minute. I've always been told that if somebody says they're from the government and they're here to help, like, run for the hills, okay? And that's coming from somebody who's not in a cult, okay? So the FLDS has always been told that the government is not here to help them. So when I was watching these documentaries, the one part that I struggled with was the way the state handled this. I don't know about the Utah case. I want to preface that. I know about all the documentaries, I don't know. All the documentaries to me just seem to gloss over the Utah and go straight to the Texas. So that's kind of where I'm going. And I struggled with the way Texas handled this. And I always did prior to Sam and Melissa's videos. And I always felt that there was this sweeping thing when it came to the FLDS. That it was like, Warren Jeffs is evil, Warren Jeffs is bad, so everybody's bad because they follow him. Was how I interpreted it. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's how I saw it from watching these documentaries. I felt like there was this swooping thing. And I could see how, his inner circle, Lyle, Naomi, all these people could be bad too. But I didn't understand how, I just felt like in his inner circle, yes, there could have been bad people. There could have been bad people, period. There's bad people everywhere. And for me, it just felt like they were punishing all of these women, all of these children for Warren Jeffs' behavior. And I felt like it wasn't handled very well. I felt like they just didn't understand that even though Warren Jeffs had been breaking families up at this point, they saw them as the enemy and they weren't there to help. In their minds, they weren't there to help. They were there to hurt. And I wonder almost if at the time it wasn't necessarily about Warren Jeffs. A part of me wonders, this is just a theory, nobody come for me, if it was about ridding the FLDS from Texas, getting the FLDS out of Texas because of the fact that they didn't want it there. I don't know. I struggle with the way this case was handled. And when I saw that Melissa and Sam were doing a series with people who were there, I clicked on it. So I've never clicked on a video so fast in my life. I needed I don't know if I needed confirmation in what I was feeling. I don't know if I have such compassion for people that I struggle with. I just don't feel like we are always, I sometimes feel that as a society, we're trying to help, but sometimes we do more harm than good in situations. And I don't feel like we as a society are taught enough about cult-like situations or brainwashing in general. And I really felt strongly that these people had no idea what they were walking into. And it kind of was confirmation when I clicked on Sam and Melissa's first video that I wasn't crazy for thinking that, because that CPS worker was not told anything. And it's funny from the outside, it's funny because for me, I've always been raised relatively modest. Most of what I wear is relatively modest. My dad's military, we're conservatives and we're Christian and, all these things. And I was always raised to cover my body. This is a story for another day. So we were extreme form of modesty. So for me, it wouldn't have been an issue to not show my arms, to not show, my legs, etc. It would not have been an issue for me to dress fairly modestly. I I don't know. It was just confirmation when I clicked on that video that, like, the first CPS worker had no idea, like, what she was walking into. And that kind of, like, frustrated me a lot because it's like, I understand that they weren't, like, having communication, but, like, there should have been some education brought to this situation. And I'm going to get off Sam and Melissa's video. I will link their channel down below. I don't want to give too much away. So from watching all of that, I definitely realized that there's a lot I did not know from what happened. And I'm definitely interested. I hope they're going to do like another series because they talked to one lawyer, they talked to a CPS worker. I'm hoping there's more coming because I feel as a society we can learn from that and how we handled it. Because at the end of the day, I really believe that the state was so focused on getting Warren Jeffs that they were doing whatever they could to get Warren Jeffs. And if that meant hurting or causing problems for the community, in their mind, it didn't matter. That is my takeaway from it. That is not Sam and Melissa's. That's not any legal sound, nothing. That's my takeaway. My takeaway was they had their eyes on the prize, Warren Jeffs, even though he was already, I think, in jail at this point. Like, and I also believe they were really trying to dismantle the FLDS. And, you know, we do have freedom of religion in this country. I know everyone wants to forget that factor, but we do. And I understand that these groups cause harm, but we also have to remember there's people that believe what they believe. And we have to go into it with some compassion and understanding. We can't just be like, oh, this is all bad. Like, we have to remember that there's people that don't believe it's all bad. So circling back to Naomi Jeffs, I'm going to say one more thing before I end this video. Naomi, I really, really hope you get to a point where you can have a conversation about this and understand where people are coming from. I would even suggest, if this is even possible for you, a conversation with Rachel. Rachel shares a lot on her social media. Rachel wrote a book about what happened to her. At some point, Naomi, you can't deny what this is. And I know that you love him, and I would like to believe that is the reason that you're choosing to ignore, but I also feel like you don't want to acknowledge your part in this, and I think you need to. For the sake of yourself and for healing. You're only going to heal when you deal with it. And I feel like in the Preaching Evil documentary, you got off easy. Anything that you didn't want to talk about appeared to not be talked about. Any question that wasn't too tough didn't show up. And I really feel that from that documentary, I have more questions for you than answers. And I struggle with that. So I'm going to also end this with Sam and Melissa. So Sam and Melissa, if you by chance are watching this, I am going to send this to you. I'm a little nervous because I've never actually done anything about like cults or anything. This is strictly my opinion. So like, please, like Sam, if you have anything to add, like I'm more than apt to hear it. I'm not somebody who likes to judge other people, obviously, so I'm really trying to like show compassion and be understanding. But again, like I said in the beginning, I struggle with Naomi, and I know from watching your video that you guys appear to be struggling with Naomi as well. I would love to, this is like me hoping to speak it into existence here, even though my chances are very slim. I would love to do like a video with you guys, like me interviewing you or anything like that. Would definitely be on my alley. I'm obviously a very small YouTuber. I love my coffee chats. I kind of do a little bit of everything. It's definitely different. Or I also have another idea. Melissa and I could do a video on like being a parent and mommying, because honestly, like this is not how I imagined doing it by myself, but here we are. Again, me speaking. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give a big thumbs up if you do. For now, subscribe, please subscribe really today, and I will see you guys all in my Transfer Tuesday video.